present, wherever you go, you will find that now this internet has become one of the basic necessity in our life, and especially after all this pandemic happening, we know that we have been doing this from far and wide locations, and we are having all those online lecturing and all those things by using this internet. So internet is everywhere. But now today, as I said to you, that I'll be talking about some of the aspects of internet that might not be that obvious for everyone over here. Now, a quick question, first of all, to have a basic understanding of understanding of my audience, that how people feel about it. I would like to, so I will be asking some of the questions, and let me just, do something. I'll open up a notepad and I'll share these lecture notes for you with you people. Don't worry. I will first of all just show you. So I am calling it lecture 1, and we have January 10, 2022 today. Right? So we are talking about this lecture 1. So I will be asking some quick questions to have a good understanding or good, understanding of my audience. So first of all, as I said, internet is not something new. There are lots of things that we are doing internet. There are wonderful things that we are doing using internet and web. Now, the first question that comes over here is, what is internet? Now, this is the first question with us. What is internet? How you people can, any one of you can just define internet, that this is internet. How would you define that? And I would like to have definitions from most of the people in the chat window. You can just write down that one. No need to unmute yourself because it would become difficult. So can anyone write in the chat window, how do you define internet? What is internet in your view? What do you think? Anyone? What is internet? I'm not getting any response in the chat window. Global information repository. Mansoor, thank you very much. It's a very nice definition. A group of connected networks. Andy, excellent. That's wonderful. Any other definitions? These are the two definitions from Mansoor and Andy Carter. Anyone else come up with some definition? What is internet? Is a form of connecting networks with different locations. Chirag, wonderful. But I need some more. With the help of internet, we can communicate and share data from anywhere to anywhere. That's wonderful, Pareen. And it's one of a web that connects everything. Excellent. Now there are lots of definitions that might come up with internet, but let's some of you have already given this definition. It's nothing new that I'll be showing, but let's call it network of networks. I just always remember this with this definition. Network of networks. Yes, a group of networks that provide information, communication facilities, coverage. That's wonderful. The internet can be considered as network of networks. Just the simplest definition that you can remember. It's a one giant network that connects millions of networks together. So this is called internet. Now, the second question that comes is, what is web? Web. Can anyone tell me what is web? Or specifically, if you are familiar, World Wide Web. Because we just called it www. What is web or World Wide Web? Can anyone just let me know what is web and what is World Wide Web? Or maybe someone can say that these both are same. And I need answer from most of you. Like again, there are a few people who have replied to my last question, and I'm happy about that. So Mansoor, Andy, Chirag, Pareen, Simon, and Prabhuji. So a way that information can be shared from device to device. Aryan, that's wonderful. A network that connects the whole world. Mansoor, are you talking about internet or are you talking about web? Because this looks like more, okay, you are talking about web. Then this definition might not be the correct one. But anyhow, network which connects the world together. Navjot, that's a very wonderful definition. Anyone else? That's good. So people are coming. Aryan, your definition, you say that I guess a way that information can be shared from device to device. That looks a wonderful definition. But let's see what others say. I need maybe some of you also. Akshit, collection of all the networks. Good. But still, A group of websites and web pages. Ilnaz, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful definition. Anyone else? Any other definition that you have? Okay, Chirag says a network which runs the world all together, which connected with one modem. Okay, Chirag, looks like good. I'll just talk about. I'll just talk about. So let's. I will take one of the definition from your, like, a way of information can be shared from your aspect. Now listen about that. World Wide Web, or WWW, is the way. I think Aryan give that definition. Yes, is the way through which we can share information. Now, okay, I will give this definition, the nearest definition. Okay, someone says collection of websites or web pages stored in web servers and connected to local computers. So that's wonderful, Harnoor. Now, Harnoor, this is very specific definition that you have given, and it's correct one. But let's talk about this. It's a way through which we share all the resources, share information, or I should say, not information. We share resources amongst ourselves. Now, as you said, Harnoor has said, yes, you can say the collection of web pages over there. There is a collection of pages, collection of web pages or websites that we use. And there are lots of collection of things. Now, one of the things is that people started confusing network with web. These are two different things, by the way, please remember. And I would give you some definitions as well. And if you look at the notes, you will find that why we are discussing this. You see, here is the inventor of World Wide Web, whose name is Tim Berners-Lee, and here is the inventor of Internet, whose name is Windsurf. Now, as you people are, some of you already started confusing these two definitions. You see, this is a very interesting joke. I did not invent the Internet. Tim Berners-Lee is saying that I did not invent the Internet because I invented World Wide Web. The World Wide Web, HTML and other protocols that are used to share, to access the resources, but that World Wide Web needs the infrastructure set up by the Internet to access all those things. So World Wide Web is one way of accessing the resources on the Internet. Internet is that infrastructure or that structure that runs on top of it. Like again, World Wide Web is a way to access things. Internet is a way to provide the structure or the architecture. Does that definition make sense? So they have made a very nice, this little joke that Tim Berners-Lee, he's Tim Berners-Lee. If you people see that the person without beard, he's called, like, his name is Tim Berners-Lee. You can read it in yes, and the www is part of Internet, you can say, but www is the sub part of Internet, which is basically which runs through the Internet. So now, so Tim Berners-Lee is saying, I did not invent Internet. Please forgive me. I have not invented Internet. And he says, I did not invent. His name is Windsurf. And you can just look about these two people later on, because people start confusing these two. So please remember now, World Wide Web is a sort of virtual directory or a way to access resources, to share resources, and Internet is that giant infrastructure that basically World Wide Web uses to access resources from. Does that make sense to everyone? So I will just mark it over here, because people usually just start confusing collection of web pages. So World Wide Web works like with Internet. Again, so Internet will provide us this facility to work on World Wide Web. So we will have a collection of web pages that are on World Wide Web. You see www. So there are World Wide Web is one way of accessing those things. Now, why we are discussing it over here? Because as I said, this World Wide Web, it works its own way. It has its own way of accessing. It has its own way of running on the different things. Now let's talk about something else. I am taking you out of the Internet world for a second. For a second, I'm taking you out of the Internet world. The other thing that we use are the applications that we download on our system, on our mobile device, or maybe on our computer systems. So there are certain applications. There are lots of applications. There are lots of application software that we download in on our machines or on our mobile phones. Now a question comes over here, and you have to honestly answer this one. Number of devices connected together and WWW used to share resources. Aryan, yes, you're right. How many applications you installed in your either mobile or PC. PC means like in your computer, not let's call it no computer. During last 30 days. This is the question. How many applications did you install in your mobile or computer during last 30 days? An honest answer is required. A rough idea. I will say, for example, something. Because first of all, if you ask me, I would say I think it's around 1 to 3, not more than 1 to 3. Now I need your answers. This is my answer. 1 to 3. Roughly 5 to 7, Christopher. Good. Anyone else? 5, Mansoor. Good. 4 to 5. 2 to 3 past 30 days. 2, Inderpal. That's wonderful. None. That's wonderful. None. Normally 8, 4, 3, around 10, 5, around 10. Aryan, you're saying. Okay, Harsh says 1. That's wonderful. Harnoor says 8. Right? Again, a rough idea. We can barely remember that how many applications. Okay, now another question. That's wonderful. I've got the answer, and let's try to maybe just take out the average of all those answers. So maybe the average sits up somewhere at roughly I'm saying 4 applications, because some saying 2, 1, 0, 1, 8, 10, etc. So I'm just taking maybe let's take it 5 applications on average. Now here comes my question: how many web pages you visited during last 30 days? Okay, and my answer is don't know. I don't know, because there are lots of 1,000, 500,000, so many, numerous, more than 100 plus. Can't remember. Pareen, you're right, and as I said, I don't remember. I don't know. I just okay. So everyone, listen about that. Why I'm asking this question? This web has given us a very different way of thinking about the things. Why we are reluctant in downloading an application and running our system? Because we know that it will come as a binary application.
Just a minute.
Hello. Someone is saying something. I think looks like by mistake they are unmuted. I don't know who is that guy, but I'll have to find out. Oh, Christopher. Christopher, you want to say something? No. Purvesh, you want to say something? No, but you are also unmuted. So please try to remember to. No problem. No problem. Remember to unmute yourself, because it looks like. Okay. So there are numerous number of web pages that you visit. Okay, Christopher, no problem, no issues. So now please you see that it means that web is providing us an environment where we have got lots of web pages, and we very easily access our web pages. Even then, let me ask another question. Let me ask you another question. If I send you an email, even I am sending you, I am your teacher, and I send you an email with .exe attached to it. Will you ever run that .exe? If you are smart enough, you will never run that .exe. And even my web or my email won't allow me to attach a .exe. But if some reason, if through some way, if I attach the .exe file and I send you an email, you will never trust my exe. Is that correct? Aryan, are you getting where I'm trying to take you people? Basically, I want to tell you that you will never run a .exe. But if I share a link with you, a link of a website, you will very easily open that. Usually you will open that, because I have given www. For example, mozilla.com. You will say, okay, it looks like a trusted something, and you will open that one. Now, web has its own security mechanism. Web has its own mechanisms to handle all those things. But I'm trying to tell you the omnipresence of web applications. Yeah, exactly. Of course, you're right. So omnipresence of website. So how basically it handles all those things, and how different things act in this different, this architecture. We'll be talking about that one. So the web basically enables us to do all those communications over the internet. Web enables us to, talk to each other, and web uses different things that it basically handles. So now let's talk about something which is called this, let's start with something interesting, and let's call it protocols. So there is, we are discussing this, all infrastructure of the web. So first of all, we are talking about the protocols. What are protocols? Whenever we open a website, if you see that whenever you have this website, when you open this website, and I look at the complete that one, the protocols. The first thing that you see in your URL is this HTTP or HTTPS. You people know about that? So you see that protocols, usually you see HTTP or you see HTTPS. These days you will see mostly HTTPS. What are protocols? Pareen, very nice. Protocol is a set of rules
and regulations.
Yes, of communication. How you will be interacting or how you will be sharing data with each other. Set of protocols is basically called what? The protocols. Like that set of rules, they are called the protocols. So how my system will be sending data to the other system, how the other system will be receiving that data. So HTTP or some of the protocols that are used are over here. Now, there is one command that I hope you people will know, and I want you to just follow me up if you don't know the command. There is a command if you are working on Windows. This command is trace RT, trace route, trace RT. And if you write trace RT, and if you are on Mac, you will have to write trace route, by the way. Trace RT and you write google.com. Just press this trace RT and google.com. See what happens with your request. Let's see what happens with your request. All of you just please try that one. Trace RT if you are on Windows and trace route if you are working on. Right, Pradeep? Yes. So Daniel, you have to write trace RT. Let me just write that in chat window. I just typed this one. Trace RT google.com. Yeah, you have to open the command menu. In the Windows, if you are Windows, you have to open the command menu. So CMD, if you write that CMD, you will get the command menu, command prompt. Right? In command prompt, just write trace RT. Trace complete, Pareen, that's good, wonderful. It's not complete for me till now. You see that I am having these different hops. It says maximum 30 hops for me too. Yes, Aryan, just keep on, just look at that and look where it stops. Trace complete, Simon, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, trace complete for you. Now, I want to tell you something about the protocols. Very, very, very important. Why HTTP or why HTTPS? Now I have this 14th hop, and still I'm not able to get to the Google. You see that I am being redirected from one server to the other to serve. So you know what is happening right now? I'm requesting google.com and I'm tracing the route to that one. Now I finally find this google.com, which is basically this. So now I would like, okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So now if you see that, how many hops did you people see? Can I get the number from everyone? I have 17. 30. Aryan says 30. Aryan, good. Okay, 8, 9, 14. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Anyhow, now let's talk about this, why we have discussed that. This is my router address, 192.168.8.1. This is my router address. This is my address, for example. And I am going to this from out of this to this location, then to this, etc., 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 etc. And finally, I'm reaching to google.com. Now, do you see that there are lots of systems that are coming between me and my other machine? So there are lots of people in between that can eavesdrop my information, that can look at my information. Now, this HTTP or HTTPS, this one is called secure protocol. HTTP secure. HTTP is hypertext transfer protocol, the protocol used for transferring the hypertext over the internet. And HTTPS is also for the same purpose, but it does it in a secure manner. Now, this HTTPS does what? That whatever like terminal, whatever device in between looks at this data, it will make sure this secure HTTPS that my information from my system, from my router goes to google.com without any harm, and no one in between would be able to make any sense of that, because I can hop to maybe multiple machines before generally reaching to the google.com. Does that make sense? So HTTPS does what? This protocol, secure protocol, will do what? It will make sure that my information is not interrupted somewhere, and even if it is interrupted, it does not make sense to any of the receiving machine, and it will make sure that me and Google are safely talking to each other. because I want to talk to Google. If I'm talking through HTTP, I am talking, without any security, and someone can eavesdrop information in between. But if I am talking to, basically, I am talking by using HTTPS, it means that now I am having this secure communication with other party, and now no one will be in between. So these protocols will enable us. First of all, these protocols enable us to do this communication between the different devices. Now, here comes a very interesting protocol, IP. And to specifically, if I say IP address, can anyone tell me what is IP address? Of course, you people should know that. It's a very easy one. IP address. What is IP address?
Internet protocol.
Internet protocol address. But what is that? What is IP address? Let me show you something. Do you see this weird syntax of 1.2.168.8.1? Do you see 10.75.74.2 something like that? So what is an IP address? An IP address is the recognition or the address of every machine on internet, every machine that is present on internet. Yes, it's like your ID in the internet. And you're right. And someone says something, Aryan, an address that is used to identify. Yes, that is used to identify you on the internet. Now, this IP address are of different kinds. One is called IPv4, which usually we are looking at. And this IPv4 is in this form. It has some XXX as a, some value, for example, 120, you see 192.168.0.1, something like that. So it has 4 octets, like 8 bits of information here, 8 bits here, 8 bits here, and there's a little detail. What is this? These are all hexadecimal numbers or something like that. But anyhow, where it can go to the maximum, this 255.255.255.255. I will not be going into the much deeper details of this one, but anyhow, you will know that. So anyhow, and yes, IPv6, when we say, on the other hand, so it can only capture maybe maximum address that it can capture. IPv4 is this, because it has 4 octets. On the other hand, if you see that there is some address which is not coming over here, it's just giving the name, and it will come shortly. I'll show you. They've got IPv6. IPv6 addresses are in some different forms, and they have some different syntax like this, and they have more space so that more people and more addresses can be assigned. So if you are assigning with IPv4, you will be stuck at this point, and you cannot allocate any more addresses to that one. But again, IPv6 has been introduced, and you can just study that on your own time if you want. That IPv6 is providing us more and more facility to have more addresses and work on more addresses rather than just working on some of the addresses as we have IPv4. So now the other thing that we have is IPv4 and IP addresses. 32-bit number. So IPv4 is the 32-bit number. If you see this one is called a 32-bit number. 32-bit means again 8, 8, 8, and 8. So it's 32 bits altogether. Okay, that's wonderful. So your class will go over to this one, and you will enjoy that one over there. But anyhow, here what we are doing is that we are just talking about this one. So first of all, we have talked about this protocol HTTPS, and then we talked about this IP address, that there are IP addresses. Now, where these IP addresses are coming from? This is very interesting, and that is called domain or domain name. Domain name. What is domain name? Now, if you see that it is giving me this address for the Google, 216.58209.142. It's giving this IP address for the Google. So now, if you had to remember this one instead of google.com, how difficult it would be. So domain name is what? It gives us this feature that these IP addresses. So for example, if I copy this IP address from here, so this IP address is being basically mapped to what? Google.com. Are you getting that? So rather than remembering the number or the IP address of any of the resource, domain name provides us as a name that you can just replace with that typical number. So that typically gives us the domain or the domain name. Now let's talk about this one. What is the domain name over here? The WEB222 basically .ca. You can say that this is basically the domain name over here. We have got this domain name, right? So WEB222.ca is the domain name, and let's try that as well. Traceroute, traceRT. and web222.ca. Just press out that one. You people also just press that. How many hops that does it show to you? Let's see. Aryan, 7 hops. Anyhow, so you can always check these hops, and you can just check that how many hops you are reaching to that particular location or particular web22.ca. So this is basically called a domain. And what domain does is basically, and typically this all collectively is called a URL. I hope you people remember, you people know that this is typically called a URL, and this is called Uniform Resource Locator. So you have this Uniform Resource Locator URL web address, and there is a domain name that specifically refers to a particular domain that you are accessing. So as we said, google.com is one domain, and then this if you say this web22.ca, this is web22.ca, this is one domain that you are trying to access. So these are basically these domain names that we have something. Now we have something else which is not visible over there. They are called ports. Port is a very interesting thing. Now ports are what? As we are familiar with this port when we say airport. So a place from where airplanes just go away, a bus port or something like a ship port or something like that. So these typically show what? That typical area from where information. So port is what? When we are working in HTTP, the default port is 8080. Just remember, when you are working in HTTPS, the default port is 443. Now, ports specifically, yeah, exactly. And there are lots of things. Ports specifically are anywhere between 65,536, something like that. There are lots of ports that are available at our discretion. But when we say that we are working on HTTP, so let me tell you a very interesting thing. When I am accessing this website, let's talk about this web.2a.ca. So what protocol is used over here? HTTPS. So specifically, it is not mentioned, but specifically here is something written, which is not there, which is hidden. Why? Because web browsers recognize that. So if I press on that, you see, still I get my website back. But here is something very interesting. If I by mistake place, rather than 443, I place 80 over here. And I told you 80 is for what? 80 is for HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Aryan, thank you. Now, if I press that one and I press on this, enter, you see what happens. Why so late? It should quickly show me that I'm unable to access that. Why I don't know. No problems. I can do that with Google. If I access google.com, you see that google.com is coming with that one, and this is port 40, port. It should be 443, but if I do 80, you see that it's not opening the website. Invalid response. Why? Because I have not used the right port with that one, which is typically not there. And if I remove this port number from here and I access that, of course it will be accessed. Why? Because the port number, it will just recognize by itself, and it will just understand that 443 should be there. Are people getting that? So this is the intelligence of the browser. Yeah, by default, it will just go there. But you see, if you see here, you see that site cannot be reached. And why it cannot be reached? That I have given the wrong protocol with a wrong port number. So if I come over here and I say 443 and I press enter, you see I quickly get the website. Pareen, are you making sense of it? So it's basically a port which is invisible. But there is a time when we get to know that port. I know this is a very interesting question, very good question. So I know these are the default ports that we have, but we can, does there also have information on port? Yes, Aryan, just listen. We can define these ports by ourselves as well. Let me tell you a very interesting thing. How many of you know about this? Oh, rather than writing this, I'll say there is a little joke. There is no place on earth like 127.0.0.1. How many of you know this joke? Or how many of you know what does that mean? Anyone knows about this? What is this? There's no place on earth like 127.0.0.1. You would have seen t-shirts, people wearing t-shirts with this sign on them, this written on that. Anyone has seen that? Or anyone knows what is special about this statement? Aryan, thank you. Aryan, but it does not make sense. What does that mean? There's no place on earth like localhost. What does that mean by localhost? Aryan, what do you mean by localhost? Exactly. This 127.0.0 can be called as home, and it can also be called as localhost. Now listen, what does that mean? It is called a loopback address of your own machine. It is also called the home address. What does that mean? When I say I want to access 127.0.0.1, so I am saying that I want to access my own machine from my own machine. Is that making sense? It is like I'm accessing the home from my own machine. So this statement you will find on the some of the people's t-shirt. They will say there is no place on earth like home. You know, we say that our home, there can be no other place like my home on the earth, right? So basically, it's called 127. Now, interestingly, we can use this HTTP, and I'll show you. You will be using that localhost colon, and we'll be using this 3000 port. Forget. Sometimes I'll be using this 3000 port. Sometimes I'll be using this 5000 port or any port, whatever for that matter. There are lots of ports. As I said, there are lots of numbers that you can use. 5000 port. I might be sometimes using an 8080 port, 8080 rather than 80. But again, there are certain which are specifically defined for some particular communication. Is that making sense, Aryan? Someone asked this question that then how do we know? Yeah, Hanur, are you getting that answer? That there are certain which are already defined over here, and then there are ports that you can define by yourself. That I want to run my communication on port 3000. I want to run this communication on port 5000. I want to run this communication on 8080 port, whatever. Here comes something very interesting. When you combine protocol with domain name. Oh, that's wonderful. Aryan, how do we know that? Aryan, you don't need to guess anything at all. This is all given. Let me just tell you. If I access a website, for example, I access website of Seneca. For example, I access the website of Seneca College. Now, Aryan, you reply me. Do I need to guess which port it is working on after looking at the complete port? Aryan, you understand what I'm saying? You will still find some of the websites on HTTP. But again, HTTPS will tell me that, okay, the protocol that this website Seneca is using is basically 443. Why? Because it is communicating on HTTPS, sorry. You got my point? And usually we will be seeing some of the websites that will be on HTTP. You will have to use 80. If you don't use anything, it will by default. Yeah, it is by default for the website. You're right. Okay, so now let's talk about where I was there. I just talking about this, right? So I was talking about this, you know, this port. So I was saying protocol plus domain plus port. They collectively make something called origin. Now, origin is a very important thing. Origin is a very, very important thing, which becomes one of the wall of security or privacy or, you know, accessing authorization on internet. Listen, if I share a URL with you, which says www.seneca.ca/Namanati, there is very much likely you will definitely trust my URL. Why? Because you will say, because it's on Seneca server. Seneca, I know that protocol is the correct one. Seneca is working on HTTPS. So Naman has shared a very legal resource. Are you people making sense of it? And if I share something, you know, it's very easy to find the fishy websites that when you look at their domain, you will find very odd names will be there. Maybe the protocols is not correct, and maybe something. So you'll say, okay, it's a fishy website. I don't want to access it. Anyhow, if you access it, your browser is so intelligent these days that it will say, as I said in the beginning, if you remember, that if I try to send you a .exe file, my browser, my email server will not allow me to attach that. You know what I mean? But of course, if I send it to you, your browser, your email server will intelligently find out, and it will say it looks like it's a virus. Please be very careful in accessing that tool. Are you getting that? So whenever it is coming from a right origin-based security or origin policy, it is called sometimes, that origin-based policy will make sure that you are getting the right data and you are getting the right response. Are you people getting that? Is everyone with me? Now if you see here, there are some certain other things as well that I want to just talk about. Let me just if I click on that one, not really. Okay, I'll just talk about it. So now this is, you can just go through all these things. Domain name, human readable domain name system, which is the phone book. Like again, as I said, that it will be just keeping all the HTTP's hypertext transfer protocol. What else do I want to discuss with you people? And that would be very interesting for you for today. Okay, so one thing that I want to discuss with you people here today is that, so the origin policy or the origin makes it ensures it that I am getting the right response, I'm getting the right things, I'm not getting the wrong thing. Now another thing that I want to discuss over here is the request response side of thing. Request/response. What are request response cycles? This is very important. What is request response? When you write www.google.com on your browser and you hit enter, what we are doing, we are basically requesting. Basically user is requesting something from client. I am requesting something from server. Sitting on client, I am requesting. Whenever you write www.seneca.ca and press enter, you are requesting Seneca.ca. Server, upon get something, returns something. I get the website maybe. So what I get is basically called response. It is called request response cycle. When we ask something from internet, we are requesting information, and when we get something out of back from that one, we are getting the response from that one. Is that right? So we are getting a response back from the server. So it is called request response. And it's a very important thing. You have to remember, whenever you are asking as a client asking something, you are requesting something. And whenever server is sending you something, you are getting a response. You get a response back from the server. Right? So that's called a request response cycle. And here I will just, I will end with few important things. I want all of you to install this software called curl. And I will just start from this point onwards in the next class. Curl download. I want you to download this curl software. What is this curl? I'll share the link. Download. So use this URL and download this software curl. And of course, please don't worry, it's a very legitimate one. I'm not doing that. So curl.s is a download according to your operating system. Or maybe you can just download from this one and download and install that. And if you have successfully installed that, you will get something like this. If I go to my command prompt, and I write curl, for example, just curl, I'll get curl, try curl help for more information. So if you get this one, it means that your curl is installed properly. I would now ask everyone to just install this curl, because we have got some more discussion left for today, and I'll discuss those things in our next coming lecture. You will enjoy that one, and we will be just discussing few things over there. So I want you to download the curl, and I want feedback from some people who have downloaded and who have successfully. Just open up your command prompt, and you will see that your command prompt is working with this curl, and curl is saying that try curl -- help for more information. Daniel, download as per your operating system, or maybe if you download any one of them, that would be fine for you. Maybe for this one or just for whatever. No, you just download that one and you will be done with that one. If you are on Windows. Anyone who has successfully downloaded and run that one? Yeah, Kunal, just download the zip file. Maybe yes, this one. Joseph, you can see this curl, and when you press just curl, you will find this one. No problem, Andy. Okay, Joseph, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. It means we are done with that one. So again, for those who are just, oh, Daniel, you don't find so you can just, as I said, you can download this zip. Okay, don't worry about the executable. Don't worry about the executable. Daniel, you have got this download it from that one, extract that file, and then you go to your command prompt and just type this spell. Daniel, just do that. Karim, you can see that as well. Karim, did you install something or just extracted that file? Yes, you don't need to execute. Karim, that's excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. Andy McDonald, you should be happy that at McDonald you are getting 50 kbps. Okay. All right. So now I will leave all of you over here with this discussion today. And what I'll do is that I need all of you to just download this card, and I will start from this point onward, because there we have. So Hanu, no worries. You have to just select that zip file and just install that one. Just download that one and extract that, and you will have your curl working with that one. Yes, Farid, I will share these notes. Don't worry. I'll share these notes. Don't worry. So I'll start from this point onwards in our next class on Thursday, and I will share these notes. And not for this week, Daniel. There is no assignment right now, but after Thursday's class, I might give you some practice questions that you will be following. So for today, I'll be just stopping here. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion, and I hope you learned something new today. And I hope that next class will be, yes, it would be more fun, because we'll start JavaScript. We'll just see lots of interesting things in that JavaScript. Oh, Aryan, I will share the link of this recorded lecture. Don't worry, I'll share the link of this recorded lecture. Right. So Chirag, thank you very much, and Irina, thank you very much, and enjoy your day, and see you on Thursday, everyone. So just put up an exit ticket, and you can all just leave the meeting. Thank you, and bye, everyone.